Coming up on Let's Get to the Points.
And Miguel, you're in South Korea. We want to know how your trip's going.
Yeah, it's going great so far.
Where are you staying, and is that a suite that you're sitting in right now?
And then today, I booked myself a skin tightening bundle.
And later.
I want to take my family of 6 to Japan, and I have a P2. That's important.
Probably American Airlines is the best way to go with 60,000 round trip.
I think it's best to save about 420,000 points.
And then Hyatt hotels in Tokyo, they're about 15,000 to 30,000 points a night. So you'll have to do the math to see how much you need to save.
Now, let's get to the points. From passion for points, it's Serena. From points to travel expert, it's Keholani. From travel sergeant, it's Miguel. From Nicole's travel tips, it's Nicole. And from seat to a suite, it's Mitch Shannon.
Hi there, and thanks for joining us on Let's Get to the Points, audio and video podcast, where we bring you the very best in tips and tricks in the world of miles, points, and travel. I'm Mitch Shannon, joined by simply the very best Instagram social media content creators in everything points, miles, and travel. First up, from Passion for Points, it's Serena.
Hi.
From Points to Travel Expert, it's Kay Halani.
Aloha.
From the Travel Sergeant, it's Miguel.
안녕하세요.
Ooh.
Ooh, nice. And from Nicole's Travel
Nice.
Tips, it's Nicole.
Hi, everyone.
Please hit that like button and subscribe now to our podcast wherever you watch or listen to us. The video and audio versions are on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify at Let's Get to the Points. Also, we want to connect with you, so drop us a DM on any one of our social media channels. Now let's do it. Let's get to the points. Last week, we broke format just a bit and took a deep dive into the world of our Player 2s and all that comes with it. We got some really good comments, so we want to thank everyone who watched. We're going to do another show like that soon. But for now, summer is in full swing. And Miguel, you're in South Korea, in Seoul, right? We want to know how your trip's going. Tell us.
Hey, Mitch. Yeah, it's going great so far. So we're doing a stopover here. Our main destination was Tokyo, and I knew that we'd probably end up doing a stopover at another city, Singapore, Hong Kong, depending on which flights I actually found to get over here. So back in December, I found some flights on United from San Francisco into Seoul. So that's what I booked. And I, booked a 3-night stopover here. And so far, we've gone to the temples. We rented hanboks, the traditional Korean wear, so we could walk around the palace. And I guess you get in free when you're wearing a hanbok. You don't have to pay the entry fee, but you're spending money on the hanbok. And then we went to some of the food markets. I know you mentioned before that you like planning dining or food experiences, and that's what we like to do. So my wife was watching a Netflix episode of Street Food Asia, and there was a lady there that does hand-cut noodles. And so we went to that market. She was there, and we were able to sit down and eat some of those noodles, and it was delicious. And then today we have appointments for skincare treatment. I guess that's a big thing here in Korea. When I saw how cheap it was compared to the US, I said, you know what, I'm going to do something myself too. So I booked myself a skin tightening bundle.
It's good.
All I wanted was maybe like an aqua peel, whatever that is. I've never really done any treatments for myself, but because it's so much cheaper compared to the US, I decided to go ahead and do the Korean skincare experience.
I want a skin tightening bundle. Does that include Botox?
I think it does, that one, yeah. I'm not sure. I'm hoping there's going to be some kind of consultation where they go over exactly what you get. But yeah, I think that one has... Aquapeel is the main thing that I wanted. That sounds cool to me. But I think they might have Botox with it. I guess we'll find out in a few hours.
So how much does it cost to get that?
I think that bundle is somewhere about $200. But I was seeing, other people's experiences with this. And apparently, whatever you decide to get here, as far as skincare, you're paying pretty much like a tenth of what it costs back in the US. I just figured I can afford $200. I wouldn't pay probably more than that for anything else. So I'm going to try it out.
And if you want plastic surgery, Korea's the place to get it too.
No, I might have to book a return trip for that.
Well, now that we're becoming popular, Miguel, there is nothing wrong with self-care. And I think we can get it in the budget for a little plastic surgery or maybe even Botox for you. I think we can do that.
Yes. Thank you. Wait, Miguel, can you tell us how many points and miles you used to book this flight?
Oh, yeah. So the flights to Korea on United were 70,000 United miles and about $11 per person. Now, I don't know if this worked out the way I meant it to or not, but I did a status match to United last year year because I heard that if you have elite status, they open more award availability to you. So I needed to book 3 seats. When I did that status match, I was kind of looking out for a redemption using United miles, and I was able to find 3 seats, which gets harder when you're booking in premium cabins. And I found 3 seats, and it said special pricing. So I don't know if it's because I have a United credit card or because I did the status match and I had status matched into Premier Platinum with United. So that might have been the reason. But anyways, that's what I was able to book, 70,000 United miles and $11 per person. And that was actually all the way from my home airport of El Paso. So even though I had 2 connections, I mean, that's the only way to get to San Francisco, which is the gateway where they leave the US.
So, Miguel, you mentioned that you status match. Can you tell us what is a status match and how does it work?
So status match in this case for airlines is if you have elite status with a certain airline, some competing airlines might offer you a status match because I guess they see that you're a frequent flyer enough to get status with another airline and they want to compete for your business. So they give you kind of like a trial, a taste of what their elite status can do for you. Last year I had Platinum Pro status with American Airlines. So I did that status match to United and they gave me Premier Platinum. Not only because I was going to be flying a few United flights towards the end of the year, but I was hoping that they would open more seats for me and it might have worked. I'm not sure if there was just 3 seats available or they gave me an extra one because I had platinum status, but that's pretty much what you do. And not all the airlines have a status match. Sometimes they're promotional, sometimes they're continuous, but they all have their own rules that you have to abide by. So with United, you can only do one every 5 years. So you have to be strategic. And when you do your United status match, if you decide to do one, because you won't be able to do it for another 5 years.
So, Miguel, Asia in general is really popular tourist destination for a lot of people, especially Korea. So is this your first time there? And can you talk a little bit about your time there and are you enjoying it?
This is my first time over here, this whole part of Asia, because I really started doing most of my travels in 2019. So a lot of Asia has been closed off and they just recently all started kind of opening up to tourism without all these restrictions and stuff. So I've been wanting to come here for a while, but this is my first time. And one of the first impressions I got here is a little bit harder to navigate if you don't know the language, because say like in Germany, even if I didn't speak the language, even if I mispronounced something, I could read it. But here they use entirely different alphabet, these characters, and I can't even sound it out. So I don't know where I'm going. I can look at directions and Google Maps on my phone and I'm like, I got to memorize characters. It's like, oh, the little upside down 7 with a circle or something, because, it's just that much harder to try to get around.
I love Google Translate for traveling, especially to Asia. But I have a question. Where are you staying? And is that a suite that you're sitting in right now?
Yeah, so we're staying at the Park Hyatt Seoul. I use Hyatt points for this. I use 71,000 points, I believe, for 3 nights that we're staying here. And I did use a suite upgrade award that was applied before my stay so I could confirm my upgrade. So you get the suite upgrade awards after 50 elite nights with Hyatt, you get 2. And then after 60 nights, you get another 2. So I've had 4 in my account. And I used one at the Hyatt Regency in Maui. So this is the second time I used one. So I have 2 more left from the ones that I earned last year.
How's the breakfast over there?
Oh, it's great. It's one of the best breakfast spreads that I've seen at hotels. So yesterday I started with like an omelet and bacon and stuff, but then I got to the Korean comfort food section and I was like, wow, like this is all I'm getting tomorrow because it was delicious.
So, Miguel, was the breakfast enough to bring you back to Team Hyatt?
I don't know. No, I'm not Team Hyatt. It's not that I'm not Team Hyatt. It's just I wasn't going to do a mattress run for the Globalist part. I'll still stay with Hyatt because you're going to book it for me. Speaking of the breakfast, so they only gave me free breakfast for 2 people and there's 3 of us. So they are charging us for that third person $42 for that third person for the breakfast, which I think it's worth it, but I wish it would still be free. So I don't know, Team Hyatt's not giving me free breakfast for everybody. Didn't you have something with the Hyatt breakfast recently too, Nicole?
Yes. So I would follow what Serena always says and advocate for yourself. So I had a stay this weekend at the Eliza Jane in New Orleans, and I booked a room for 4 people using points. Normally, when you book a room with Hyatt using points, your destination fee is waived. My destination fee included bike rentals and a welcome drink. I was like, good morning. How are you? We're checking in. Can we get our free drink tickets? And she was like, your room rate does not cover that, but I'll give it to you anyways. So I let it slide. But the following day, when we went to ride the bikes, the gentleman told me that my room rate does not cover the destination fee. So I asked him, doesn't waive means that I don't have to pay for it, but I still get to enjoy the benefits? And he explained to me that no, since I did not pay the destination fee, I wasn't able to use the resources. So what do? In life, we hang up and we call back. So I called the Globalist line and they told me that they were going to speak to the manager to figure out what the situation was. I was on hold. They came back and lo and behold, I was entitled to use the bikes. I would definitely check with the front desk, Miguel, because sometimes the people that work there are not very clear on the terms and conditions. And the terms and conditions are like your Bill of Rights. They lay out what you're entitled to and what you can receive for the money or the points that you use to pay for your stay. So advocate for yourself, hang up and call back, all of the above to get what you deserve.
Nicole, good job advocating for yourself. Now, tell us about your trip. Did you like the Eliza Jane, and would you recommend us going there?
I can't help but be honest. So there were pros and cons for staying at the Eliza Jane. The pros: the location is superb. It's in the middle of everything. It's close to Bourbon Street and it's on a quiet street. So here are some of the cons. The room is dark. We got a suite upgrade to an interior suite. Just be mindful of that. There was only 2 little windows that let light in. The breakfast. I know we just talked about breakfast, but at the Eliza Jane, it's important to know that you are limited on a dollar amount. Breakfast for adults is limited to $25 and breakfast for kids is limited to $15. So if you're okay with those stipulations, then I'd say go for it. In my opinion, if you're going to New Orleans just for the Eliza Jane, I wouldn't recommend it, but to each his own. Let's just say after breakfast, I was still hungry. If you are going to New Orleans for an event, yes, go 100%. But I'm not sure that the destination is worth just visiting the hotel.
That's the thing about staying at hotels that are part of the Hyatt brand, yet Hyatt had acquired them, or they're partners with Hyatt. You're not going to get the same quality. That's what I find, as if you stick with like Hyatt Regency, Park Hyatt, all the brands that are actually part of Hyatt.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It was a different level of service than staying at the Hyatt Regency. I mean, even at a Hyatt place, I think I've had some better service at Hyatt places than I did here. The service wasn't bad. It just wasn't the Hyatt standard that I was used to.
Yeah, I could see that because some of those are independent hotels owned by somebody else and they just kind of have the Hyatt brand, but I could see that there wouldn't be as much consistency. I think the same goes for the same luxury hotels and resorts. They're not owned by Hyatt. They just kind of market them. But those being luxury hotels, I still would expect a little bit of higher level service than some of these other independent hotels like that one.
Now, let me be clear. The hotel itself is beautiful. The design and the decor is unique. It's in an old factory building. And I think Eliza Jane, the history behind it is that she was one of the first women publishers of a newspaper or a magazine. And it's on Magazine Street. So there's a lot of history in this building. And again, if you had a wedding or something there, it would be a beautiful place to have it. So I don't want to distract from that. It's just, I guess because we've been to so many hotels that you kind of have your preferences. And so there are certain things that I was looking for that it didn't have, but there's certain things that it had that I wasn't expecting to be there anyways.
Right. I expect consistency when I go. Consistency within the Hyatt brand, no matter which hotel I'm at. I want that same level of service, same quality, clean room, all those kinds of things.
Yeah, and those independent collection hotels, some are excellent, like Carmel Valley Ranch in the Bay Area, the Seabird in Oceanside. Those are fantastic hotels that are very boutique and they're great to stay on. They have great recognition. So I would say do your research before booking so that when you go, you're not disappointed.
That's a great point that you made, Serena. I'd like to get a feel of what people are thinking or how they're feeling about these independent brands. Let us know in the comments. Have you stayed at a Hyatt independent brand? And what do you think of the service? Was it as you expected, better, or less than expected? I had a great weekend in New Orleans, despite some of these little hangups. But Mitch, tell us about Capital One.
Yeah, so I'm excited. So I'm kind of a week behind you, Nicole. I'm getting ready to go on my big trip. And this week I was actually finishing booking our tour packages for our upcoming trip to Asia. And I came across an incredible cashback offer on the Capital One shopping portal. They were offering me 18% back on Viator. Now, it's somewhat well known in the points and miles spaces that using cashback portals are a great deal and hack when it comes to saving money on travel. However, some still haven't heard about the Capital One shopping portal. It works just like all the other cashback portals like Rakuten and Top Cashback. However, it seems that they'll sometimes target you for these incredible offers. And we've seen in the range of 30 to 40% cash back. We've even seen 30% back at Dell, which stacks nicely with your Amex Platinum business card as well. It seems the trick is to pretend you're going shopping and click through the add some stuff to your cart button, and you just don't want to buy it, but just browse around on the website. In the next couple of days, you may get this incredible cashback offer for that same store that you would just browse. This is what happened to me. I was looking at some tours on Viator a few days before, and then all of a sudden I was looking again and I got this 18% cashback offer. If you've got some time and you're not in a rush to make a purchase, it's worth the time and effort to do this because you never know what targeted offer that they may send you. So here's a couple of tips if you're going to be using the Capital One cashback portal. Most times the website and app have different amounts and different offers, so it's important to check both before you make a purchase. I've seen it at times where the website for the merchant was at 1 to 2% and then the app was giving you 10%, so you want to check both and give a look at cashbackmonitor.com as well and see what the other portals are paying out. They don't offer true cash back like Rakuten and other cashback portals. You actually exchange your balance for gift cards and they can be somewhat limited. However, for me, it's still a good deal for the increased percentages as I'll find a way to make that gift card work. Some may not know this, but you don't need to have a Capital One credit card or even a Capital One account to use their portal as well. And you're also going to want to check your cash bookings you make for any hotel chains like IHG, Marriott, and Hilton. There's been reports of large cashback offers for these sites as well. As we work our way through summer and you book tours and make your travel plans, it's important and essential to check these cashback portals. So it may be worth your time to give a look at these Capital One shopping portals. Do you guys use the portals? What's your favorite one?
I mostly stick to Rakuten because I earn Amex points, or American Airlines portal because I use that for either for elite status or just for American Airline miles.
I agree. Those are the two that I use also, but I'm always in a debate between the Rakuten portal and the American Airlines portal. So even recently, there was a bonus for GoPuff on Rakuten, and it was 22.5%. But on the American Airlines was 8%. And I'm like, which one do I choose? Because with American Airlines, I can put that towards status. For American Express, I could just use those points to book any flight I want. These portals are great, and it's great that you have options to choose from when choosing these portals.
I like to use Rakuten primarily. Then second is AA portal. And then third would be the Wyndham portal when there's a super big offer on there.
I've used Rakuten. I'm also signed up for Top Cashback. And I also want to mention that you want to check which portal gives the highest cashback back. And you can check on cashbackmonitor.com to see which portals offer the highest cashback for the merchant that you're going to shop at.
I have an unpopular opinion. So while you can get the highest cash back, I'm sorry, the math teacher in me is coming out. Okay. So the reason I might choose a lower percentage on the American Airlines shopping portal is when I get status, the benefits of that status is long lasting. I get to use it for the whole year and I get to use it for a family of 4. So case in point, if I book a flight on American Airlines, I don't get a seat if I don't have status. But with my status, I get to choose 4 seats up front, which could be anywhere from $30 to $50. So in my mind, I might get less points or less cash back up front, but then I get to save anywhere from $120 to $200 that I would use on a seat. Again, your miles may vary. You have to decide what's most important for you.
Nicole, great point. Everybody needs to evaluate their own situation to see what portal makes the most sense for them. And Mitch, I'm going to look into that Capital One shopping portal because I hear great things about it and there are high cashback percentages that you can get from that portal. So thank you for bringing it up. I'm going to look into it.
Yeah, I'll definitely look into that. And thanks to Kehalani and Nicole as well for turning me on to all these cashback portals as well. It's time to move on to our weekly recap. It's now time for our weekly recap where we share our tips and insider lessons with you from trips that we've recently booked. So let's get right to it. And we're going to start with Serena, and you're going to talk about MaxMyPoint.
I am. So I booked a night at a hotel recently while I was on my last trip. I was at the Hyatt Ziva Cap Cana in the Dominican Republic. I got an email about a night at Conrad Bora that was available at the standard rate. So I opened the Hilton app, I checked, it was available, and I booked it on the spot right there. And then I went back to go on a water slide with my kids. So I love the convenience of tools like this because they help me save time. I mean, I could check Hilton's website every day for availability because they have a very nice calendar feature. But the thing is, I don't have time to check the site every day, multiple times a day. I really like tools like this that can alert me for hotel award availability. And there are several options out there. There is MaxMyPoint, and they have a platinum version that's $7.99 a month. There is Stay With Points, and they have a premium version for $12.99 a month. There is Airways, that's spelled Awayz. They just started with their alerts, but they're still tinkering with it to make it even better. And then there's Open Hotel Alert. That one is free, and they can text you alerts when there is a room available. But for my purpose with this Conrad Bora booking, the particular room that I was looking for, the standard room, is not available on Open Hotel Alert, so I couldn't use that as an option. So I'm currently using MaxMyPoint alerts to find availability, and with their alerts, I've been able to book 3 out of the 4 nights that I need. And MaxMyPoint is the least expensive tool to use. They provided me with the free platinum service to try out, and so far so good. I really like how you can set alerts for a date range, and if any date is available within that range, you get an email about it. Then if the date disappears because either someone else booked it or you booked it yourself, you'll get another email to tell you that the room is no longer available, so I don't have to waste my time and go in later and book it. We're going to put a coupon code in the show notes for even more savings on top of the regular monthly fee, and you'll get an extra 20% off for the first 3 months of MaxMyPoint. So if this is interesting to you, you might want to check it out.
I love these tools. This is how I found one of the nights for a stay in DC and saved over 10,000 points on a hotel stay. I love the texting feature, so you don't have to consistently go back and check. It just sends you a message. Airways is great because they also show you what points transfer to the hotels you're looking to book. So at least you know what points are necessary or what cards you can use to book these hotels.
Nicole, I also like Airways too. I think the calendar feature is especially great for hotels like Hyatt, where you can't see a calendar view on their own website of hotel award availability. Kehalani, tell us about the things that you booked this week.
Sure. Okay, so this weekend, we are going to attend 2 timeshare presentations. We're paying $0 and we're going to be earning 50,000 Marriott points and also 60,000 Hilton honors points. So we're really excited about that. If you need to know anything about that, I post stuff like that in my IG, or we could follow up on the show if you put it down in the comments if you're watching on YouTube. So back in episode 3, I talked about how I don't like to book on hotels.com anymore. Well, I went against my own rule to not purchase hotels from travel portals similar to hotels.com. What happened was I saw an article from Upgraded Points. The article talked about an overwater villa all-inclusive deal to purchase from a company called Luxury Escapes. So I went ahead and bought 2 packages. I ended up canceling both of them due to lack of any type of reasonable customer service from Luxury Escapes. It was very difficult to get a hold of them. They did not return any phone calls. It took a few days for them to even return an email where I had questions and it wasn't even answered properly. I recommend not buying anything from Luxury Escapes. If there's a problem, you'll probably be stranded. Another thing we did this week was we purchased IHG points because we canceled that Maldives package. So IHG had 100% bonus when purchasing points. So we purchased 178,000 IHG One reward points for $880. And what we did was we booked the Holiday Inn Resort Kandooma Maldives for 177,000 points.
So how many nights did you book for that 177,000 points?
We booked 5 nights, and we don't have the IHG credit card that will give you 1 night free when booking 4 nights. So we went ahead and just paid for the whole thing because it's a really good deal for us.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, because I know IHG has some cards where if you hold the card, you're able to get the 4th night free when you book with points. And I think that's a terrific perk. I don't have that card. I wish I did, because I know that can unlock some great value, because you're getting pretty much 25% off on point stays. If you book 4 nights, the 4th one's free, but you need to hold this card in order to do that.
When you use these points to pay for your hotel in Maldives, does it include anything special? Are there any activities, or do you get breakfast?
Breakfast is included. Some water activities are also included. I also have IHG Ambassador and Diamond status. So if I were staying in another hotel, the breakfast would be included anyways. How about you, Nicole? What'd you book this week?
So a few months ago, when Hyatt published that they were about to devalue some points hotels, and everyone did a mad dash to book hotels with advanced booking. Advanced booking is one of the privileges you get once you're a Hyatt Globalist. It allows you to book hotels on points without actually having the points in your account. This is great because you can speculatively book a hotel and not have the points in your account, but still hold a reservation at a lower point value. So, like the crazy Jamaican in me, I booked a bunch of hotels pre-devaluations, meaning that the points were going to increase after the date, and so I wanted to get them at the lower rate. My friend wanted me to book a guest of honor stay for them, and so she transferred the points to my account, and I had the points sitting in my account. And early this morning, I got an email. It says, some recent activity has happened on your Hyatt account. And then when I looked in my account, they had taken out 48,000 points from the balance I already had. So apparently what Hyatt does, and they're like guard dogs, it's like they sniff out that you have points in your accounts. They go down the list of bookings that you have, that you book speculatively, that you didn't pay with points yet, and start to deduct the points from your account and place those points with your bookings that you have. What I would suggest you do is, if you're going to have points sitting in your account, just be aware that they're going to start putting those points with the reservations you already booked. If you don't want this to happen, you can probably preemptively or speculatively book another reservation to tie up those points. When you're ready to book the hotels you really want, then you need to put the points back in your account at least a week before your stay. And here is a hot tip that I learned from the customer service agents. I'm going to use a case in point. The Hyatt Regency in Bali also went up in points. It used to be 8,000 points per night. Now I believe it's 12,000 points per night. I had the points in my account and they were going to apply it to whichever they chose. I went back and I asked her, these are the hotel stays I'm definitely going to take. Can you please allot the points on each one of these reservations? So what she did, she had to manually go in and put these reservations and take the points for the specific reservation that I asked her. And what I didn't know is that when they place the points for the reservation, they place it at the higher point value. So even though I only booked at 8,000 points, what Hyatt did was they went into my account and put in 4,000 points so that when they pay the hotel, they pay them at a rate of 12,000. It is as if they compensated for the difference without us even knowing about it.
At some point last year, I had 2 certificates. One was for a category 1 through 4, and the other for the category 1 through 7. Now, when I was trying to book a hotel using the 1 through 4 certificate, for some reason it was applying the 1 through 7 certificate, which I think it's because maybe it was going to expire sooner or something. But I didn't want to waste it on that. So what I did was I booked a category 5 and above hotel using the free night certificate. So I would tie that up first. And then I went back and used a 1 through 4 for the stay that I needed. And then after that stay, then I was able to cancel the 1 through 7 certificate. So I could use it for something that I really wanted to use it for later on.
That's the thing about those certificates, is that it's best to do what Miguel did, or you're going to need to call up Hyatt and ask them and tell them which certificate you want to use. But even sometimes when I tell them which one I want to use, the agent doesn't know how to do it and the wrong certificate comes out. So always double check on that after you do your bookings.
Yeah, that was a great lesson that I learned. So what about you, Mitch? What did you book this week?
Yeah, I've been working on our upcoming trip to Australia this January. We've got our Melbourne plans locked in, but we usually try and see another city or location that's closest to us, and we kind of split our time in Australia. So Nicole had posted on her Instagram last week that British Airways Airways and American Express currently are offering a transfer bonus, and Kay Haulani has talked about those benefits of using those big transfer bonuses as well. So I did a little digging and I found us the perfect option to see another city on Australia that both of us have never been to. I found award availability nonstop from Melbourne to Perth on Qantas on the dates that we needed and the perfect departure times as well. It's also on their A330 and it has the flatbed seats too. This flight's about 4-ish hours, and since I don't travel in coach, it's the perfect redemption for us. I transferred 68,000 American Express membership reward points to my British Airways account, which turned into 88,000 Avios, and each ticket was 22,000 points each. So if I'm going to break it down, it was 17,000 American Express membership reward points and $27 per ticket, which when you compare it to the cash price of well over $1,000 per person each way, I think that's quite the bargain that I got.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a good deal. Yeah.
All right, thanks everyone. I love hearing and seeing your travel booking stories and tips. It's now time to move on to Ask Us.
Hi, all. My name is Marilyn. I'm from Miami. I have really enjoyed the podcast. Thank you for all the information on your content. I have a question. What would be, in your opinion, the best credit card to select to get the most mileage and the most benefit? Thank you again for all you do.
All right. Thank you, Marilyn, for joining our show. Okay, gang, Marilyn is wanting to get the best bang for her buck that she can. So what advice can we offer her? Miguel, what are you going to tell her?
If I could only choose one card, and that's the only card I can ever use, I would go with the Capital One Venture X. And the reason for that is because even though it comes with a $395 annual fee, you have a $300 travel credit. If you book through their portal, you get most of that money back. Then you also have 10,000 mile anniversary gift, so that's another $100 value. With those two things, it offsets the annual fee. Now, you're earning 2x miles on every purchase, so you don't have to worry about what you're purchasing. You're always going to earn 2x miles. And then the last thing is it comes with Priority Pass access, so you also have a little bit of those travel benefits. So that's the one I think is like the one card I would get if I could only choose one. That's what I'd go with. What about you, Kahalani?
Okay, Marilyn. I think without knowing your entire situation, I would recommend the Amex Gold card. And I'm saying this thinking that you are going to continue getting more cards. Amex Gold gives you 4 times your points on food and dining out. And with that welcome bonus that you're going to get, you can transfer it out to a transfer partner and get 30 to 40% more points. You're going to get more bang for your buck in that way. And you can get more Amex cards later by using your Amex cards and paying your bill off in full. Amex gives cards out like candy. So if you are prepared with a travel budget, this may be the way to go for you. How about you, Nicole? What do you suggest for Marilyn?
I think that Marilyn should get the Capital One Venture X. I love that it's a no-brainer in terms of all the points are 2 points per dollar. And you do get the added benefit of lounge access, global entry. And if you're ever in Dallas, you get to visit the amazing Capital One Lounge. There is an annual fee of $395, but it's offset by the hotel credit and the 10,000 bonus points you get every year. So it gives you a little bit of luxury for not a lot of money. What do you think, Mitch? What would you recommend?
Yeah, I know on the show we talk a lot about cards that have an annual fee, and I know that can make a lot of people nervous. I do want to highlight one card you may want to take a look at, especially if you're one of those people that just like to set it and forget it. The Citi Double Cash card offers 2% on all purchases, with the cash back automatically earned in the form of thank you points, which if later you want to pair this with the Citi Premier card, you can then convert your cash back into fully transferable thank you points for a higher value. It does have foreign transaction fees, so if you make international purchases, that's something you want to kind of keep an eye out for. But for someone just starting out and getting their feet wet and not yet ready to fully commit to the points and miles game, or you're someone like Marilyn that's simply looking for a simple return with very little effort, look at the Citi Double Cash card. That's what I would recommend. Serena, how about you?
Hi, Marilyn. You have a lot of great suggestions here from my co-host. So I would look at each of these cards to determine which would be right for your situation. There's no one size fits all here, and everybody's one right card will be different for everybody. I will say that try not to be too influenced by high sign up bonus offers that are out there. Even if it's a great bonus that's out there, it might not be the right card for you. So really take a look at the benefits of each card, the multipliers that you're getting, and whether it matches up with your particular spending habits.
Okay, thanks everyone. And thank you, Marilyn, for sending us your video question. It's so easy for you to be on our show. Simply drop us a line on any one of our social media channels, or you can email us at letsgettothepoints@gmail.com and we'll answer your question right here. Before we close, we just did another Instagram story asking for your questions that you want us to answer. Look for the questions on the screen if you're watching this on Spotify and YouTube. Okay, here we go. Best short, quick responses, guys. Montro3 asks, can you give me some tips to achieve globalist status? Miguel.
Definitely look out for when they have the promotion. So they often offer a promotion where you stay 20 nights and you earn the Globalist. So there's different challenges. And I know Kehalani is good on reporting that and posting that on her Instagram. So to answer it shortly, follow Kehalani and watch her stories. What about you, Nicole?
I wholeheartedly agree with you, Miguel. The advice is to follow Kehalani's stories. Kehalani will always post about the Hyatt promos and how to get Globalist through one of their status challenge. So Kehalani, what's your advice on how to achieve Globalist?
Just follow me when I post it. I'm just kidding. Serena also helps me a lot with all of my Hyatt posts. So we kind of work as a team. She is like my assistant and I'm hers. But anyhow, I think the best way to get Globalist is like what Miguel and Nicole also talked about, is that to look for the challenges, look for those double nights, sign up for 20-night challenges, because it takes 60 nights to become a Globalist. And also look for the cheapest price Hyatt that you can find. Use the Hyatt map feature to find those cheap nights, and look for Hyatts that are 3,500 points a night. That's the lowest amount of points that you're going to pay for a Hyatt hotel. And you can click on each hotel and find which hotel you want to book that's located next to where you want to go. How about you, Serena?
So right now there's actually a corporate challenge for Hyatt Fast Track to Globalist. And we'll include that link in the show notes so that you could see if your employer participates in this particular challenge. Other than that, if you follow any one of us, you'll get really good coverage about the promos and deals that are out there. And we'll let you know when there is another challenge that's coming out for everybody. How about you, Mitch?
I would say if you do some digging, you might be able to find some cash rates for Hyatt, certain parts of the US around $50 a night. So, that might be a good option as well. $50 a night, not too bad to pay for a cash rate too. And just like everyone else suggested, follow Kehalani. She's always got these Hyatt deals. I don't know where she finds them, but she's the one that you need to follow for the Hyatt deal, right?
Got my Hyatt antennas out.
All right, next Instagram question comes from B Family CC, and they ask, I want to take my family of 6 to Japan. Approximately how many points should I save? And I have a P2. That's important. Miguel.
Yeah, so I think probably the standard would be maybe 60,000 points round trip in economy per person. What do you think, Nicole?
Probably American Airlines is the best way to go with 60,000 round trip. And follow Serena on how to get a family of 6 to Japan. How about you, Kehalani?
I think it's best to save about 420,000 points on average, depending where you are departing from. It's about 35,000 points one way in economy. So 35 times 12 one-way tickets is 420,000 points. How about you, Serena?
So I went to Japan with a family of 6. We flew business class and all our hotels were covered with points. And I don't want to scare you, but it's a lot of points. My biggest advice is to just start way in advance and start accumulating. Another option is 55,000 round trip, fly Delta, use Virgin points from Seattle to Haneda. That is a pretty good route to take, but you'd have to position to Seattle if you don't live in Seattle. And then Hyatt hotels in Tokyo, they're about 15,000 to 30,000 points a night. So you'll have to do the math to see how much you need to save. But start early. I think right now is probably too late to plan for next summer, but think about it way in advance and then you can do it. If you plan in advance, I have confidence that anybody will be able to accumulate the points and miles that they need to take their family of 6 and cover all flights and hotels if they're strategic about it. And how about you, Mitch?
So I would suggest keeping an eye out for transfer bonuses, just like what I was talking earlier about with Amex. And Kehaulani has covered those extensively in the past as well. But if you and your P2 could get an Amex or a Chase card with a high sign-up offer and time it with a transfer bonus, so it's not too difficult to do. However, you will need to be extremely patient and have a plan like Serena had mentioned. Okay, final Instagram question comes to us from Dr. Mal Azar, and they sent us, how do I find the super cheap business flight on Emirates to Milan? Miguel.
So I would use Seats.Aero. They have a tool to search for Emirates flights, and they will show you the lowest rate possible for business class or first class to either Milan or to Athens. And if you do the free version, you can see the next couple months. And if you do the paid version, you can see the entire next year of when it's available. What do you think, Nicole?
I agree with you, Miguel. And I would add searching during the off season. When school's in session, those are your better times to find availability. How about you, Kehaulani?
Same advice, go with Seats.Aero. And you can find a ticket on there. If you know what dates you want to go on, you can find something in literally like 3 minutes when you log in and go on that site. How about you, Serena?
Same answer for me. Seats.Aero is a very powerful tool. And you'll also want to check different programs. Like you can also book Emirates on Air Canada as well, but you want to look to see how many points are required and what the taxes and fees might be and compare that to booking with Emirates miles. And then you, Mitch?
Yeah, I agree, Serena. It's Seats.Aero. That's the place to go. And I agree as well. You want to keep an eye out for Air Canada Aeroplan. They just recently started mileage redemptions. And if you are limited on points or where you can transfer it from, it could be an option to go for that route, but only if you don't have the other avenues like we've been talking about as well. This segment of the show is perfect for all of you who watch and listen and have questions for us. So please follow us on Instagram and jump in on the next question poll that we have. That's it for now. I want to thank all of our hosts, Serena from Passion for Points.
Bye.
Kehaulani from Points to Travel Expert.
Aloha.
Miguel from The Travel Sergeant. Nicole from Nicole's Travel Tips.
Bye. See you next week.
And I'm Mitch Shannon from Sea to a Suite. Remember to like and subscribe to this audio and video podcast wherever you find us on social media. Thanks for watching and listening. Look for our next episode soon.